Hi, everyone. Jim Crocker from Boardroom Metrics. I'm doing quick interviews with interesting people on my LinkedIn. I want to find out a little bit more about them. Today, I'm talking to Charlie Crocker. Charlie's my nephew. It turns out that Charlie could be pretty interesting. Hi, Charlie. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Jim. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, no problem. No problem. Happy to do it. Charlie, your LinkedIn title is Charles M. Crocker, overtly progressive, outwardly creative, optimistic millennial, originally Canadian. Charlie, where are you and what do you do?
So I'm actually based in Nashville, Tennessee. I work for a public policy firm called the Raven Group, where my title is Senior Creative Associate. So I work in our impact entertainment practice area. So the firm is divided up into various groups. Public policy obviously has lots of different angles to it. So we do coalition building and direct lobbying and strategy. We do movement building. We do diversity, equity, and inclusion consulting. We do communication sort of broadly. And then in our Raven Impact Entertainment division, we're focused on using storytelling, media narrative to change policy and to also make sure that policy represented in storytelling is accurate.
Who's the most famous person that you've met?
That I've met. Well, I've been to the White House a handful of times. I've shaken hands with Obama.
Yeah.
One of the times that I was there was actually when we were working on Leonardo DiCaprio's Before the Flood. And so they premiered that at South by Southlawn. And so we called that movie night at Barry's house. And so I was doing ghostwriting for Leonardo DiCaprio at the time. I never actually met him in person, but I did have a man bun at the time, so I could really channel his voice better than any of my colleagues. So
That's cool. That's
worked
cool.
with Michael Moore. I've worked with Common. Worked with a handful of artists and celebrities sort of across the spectrum.
Okay. Well, Charlie, what advice are you giving your clients right now with this COVID-19?
Absolutely. I think the biggest thing is to continue to do the events, like keep the drumbeat going.
Okay. Yeah.
And not cancel things, but repurpose the best you can. And with all of the digital solutions, I mean, I've been working remote for about 2 years. So I've had the test run of how do you stay present with your membership, with your colleagues, with your peers. How do you continue to make a difference from sort of an isolated space? So we've actually worked with a handful of our clients on creating webinars sort of like this, using tools like StreamYard and Zoom and FaceTime and things like that. How do you leverage the keynote speakers that you already had planned on using at your in-person event to bring them online? How do you leverage your star power? How do you continue to have those sort of panels and Q&As after a screening? Everyone's at home right now, and everyone's looking for content to consume. Everyone's looking for ways to stay connected and stay interested in the things that aren't completely dominated by the viral narrative, if you will.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite platform? I mean, is Zoom your favorite platform, or are you using a combination depending on what you're doing?
Yeah. So I think each one has its benefits. So for me, StreamYard has been the most beneficial for sort of broadcasting panels and conversations. It has really high production value. It's super easy to use. It's great for participants. You just go to one link. You can sort of create lower chyrons. You can do logos in the corners. And you can actually simulcast it to LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, or your own website. You can actually go to multiple destinations at once. So it's great for involving partners as well. But then for like face-to-face meetings, Zoom and Google Hangouts. And then for staying social, we use House Party in our family. We do game nights. So
That's right. And there's lots of parties. Yeah.
There is. Yeah.
I'm sure you've been thinking of this. How do you think your business will be different when this is, if it's over, when it's over? How do you think the business will change?
Yeah, I think there'll be a lot more sort of interconnectedness between both our offices across the country as well as with our clients. I think before this, right, there was such a premium on having FaceTime with people and getting on a plane and traveling. I think people are going to sort of take some of these best practices and apply them going forth. That like you can do substantive meetings online, that you can take the time to turn those calls into video conferences because of the amount of intimacy and sort of productivity and conversation that you can have when face to face that accommodates your remote workers like myself and some of our other folks at the firm.
Yeah.
obviously nothing will ever replace an in-person conversation and sort of the experiences there, but video is a really, really close second. And I think carrying some of these trends into the next phase of normal will benefit a lot of people.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I mean, meeting this way is really efficient, right? You don't have to travel. You show up at 11, you're done at 11:15, and meetings, it's just
exactly.
And you can actually have, I found, actually have more interaction.
Absolutely.
Because it is more efficient. So
yeah, I've been a lot busier actually over the last 4 or 5 weeks.
I'm hearing that from a bunch of people.
Yeah, because whatever used to take an hour, like you said, it can take 15 minutes. The prep time is a minute and a half. The whatever transition to the next thing is a minute and a half, and you can really bang things out. So
I talked to a guy the other day. He said, this working from home is killing me. Like I'm nonstop. I'm nonstop busy. Charlie, any final thoughts? As we just wrap this up.
Yeah, I think I guess the one thing I know I've personally been struggling a lot with, just sort of the idea of staying focused right now and continuing to stay productive and do this and do that. I think it's important that folks do take that time to sort of address their mental state and do what you need to do to stay productive, and not to feel bad about sort of where you are mentally, emotionally, physically. Just like when we're all in person, making sure you have that commute, you go outside, you get fresh air. If you're not able to focus, to let your team know and get that support from your team. I don't think there's any shame in folks being honest about where they are and what they're doing right now. And if anything, it's going to benefit both yourself and the teams you're working with.
Yeah. So. Charlie, I really agree. I think that's great advice, right? I've been through that myself. Some days you just wake up and go, it's not going to work today. Let's not push it. And to your point, and let's be honest about it, right? That's the best way to deal with it. So, Charlie, that's really, really great. I really appreciate your time. Thank you. Thank you very much for doing this. You really are interesting.